There's joy in the journey, peace in the climb. Even in the waiting, love's right on time. So breathe in the beauty, let go of the fear. You're not alone, joy is here.
Hey friends, welcome back to Joy in the Journey, a place where we find beauty in brokenness, strength in the struggle, and always joy in the journey. I am your host, Jaja Fortuna, and I am so very grateful to have you here with me today. Hola mi gente, bienvenidos a Gozo en el Viaje, donde encontramos belleza en el quebrantamiento, fuerza en la lucha y siempre gozo en el camino. Yo soy tu anfitriona, Yaya Fortuna, y estoy súper agradecida por tenerlos aquí conmigo hoy. Y quiero recordarles que pueden activar los subtítulos en YouTube y las instrucciones estarán en las notas o en los comentarios. Oi pessoal, bem-vindos à Alegria na Jornada, onde encontramos beleza na dor, força na batalha e sempre alegria na jornada. Eu sou sua anfitriã, Jaja Fortuna. Gostaria de lhe recordar que podem ativar os subtítulos no YouTube e para as instruções, vejam nos comentários ou nas notas. There's something about going through the same thing again that gives you both courage and caution. You know what to expect, but your heart still hopes it'll be easier. That's the story behind my right hip replacement. It was smoother, a better process, yes, but not without its bumps on the road. This time around, as you guys may remember from me sharing about my left hip replacement, I needed to have a transfusion. So this time around, there were the nursing staff and everyone was much more prepared. They had my special blood, as we joke about it, in the hospital. My husband had to work the day of the transfusion, which, as you guys know, dates stick with me. January 13th it was. He dropped me off and then he had to go to work. And I got the blood transfusion. And then a dear friend of ours went to pick me up later that day. And it was quite beautiful. A reminder that I wasn't alone and that God was showing up through people. In fact, that same day, one of the staff gave me a box lunch. And if you've been in the hospital scene at all, you know that box lunches usually have like a ham or turkey sandwich, maybe an apple and chips. It's not something that really truly would have nourished me at that moment. But anyways, I went down to the cafeteria just because I was hoping to find a warm meal, and I saw somebody that works at the cafeteria there that I knew or I know from when I worked at that hospital, at Emmanuel Hospital, to be specific. And she was so sweet. She was like, "Oh, I know you. I remember you." And we got to talking, and then she said, "Grab a plate. Get yourself a warm meal." And it didn't cost anything to me. She was just so sweet, and again, that was just community and God's people showing up again and again, just in gentle, holy ways. A reminder that just a soft reminder that God's hands were in motion that day, that whole week, honestly. And I can share so much more about that in episodes to come. But I remember also that day that I was a tiny bit anxious once I got home. I was anxious for the next day, January 14th, for the surgery because it was going to be in the afternoon. And the first surgery was in the morning, which was preferable to me at least. And maybe I'm confusing them too. The first one was also in the afternoon. Anyways, the second one was going to be in the afternoon and it got pushed to the morning, which I was so relieved because going without food was not my ideal. I get a little bit hangry, and when the nerves are just already working themselves inside, you don't want to be without food. That's just an added like stress when you are about to go through surgery, at least for me. Anyways, that night I actually got to bed in time and did all that I needed to do, calm myself down, and next morning we drove to the hospital early in the morning. And once I got called back and Dr. Watson came in, my surgeon, he once again asked if he could pray for me. And he prayed, and he was gentle as always, just very caring, and just very steady. And that was just a huge comfort for me. My husband was there, my mom was there too, and it was just really sweet because I just felt this anchor. I don't know how to quite explain this anchor in the room. And yeah, but one thing that was quite intriguing to me and also just very strange is this surreal feeling of surgery. Surgery in itself is just really surreal. Like, one moment you're joking with nurses and answering pre-op questions, the next morning you're blinking away because nurses guide you to recovery. And I just remember I went in, I came out. Well, obviously I don't remember coming out, but I just remember a nurse saying, "How are you doing, hon?" And I'm just like, "Oh, it's over?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're just in recovery and we're going to take you up to your room." And I'm just still to this day amazed how much can happen when you're not even conscious. Like, I went to sleep and so much had happened. And honestly, I'm just so thankful for advanced medicine that that it happens this way, and that you don't have to feel any of it. Anyways, surgery went really well, honestly, and my left hip had it was so much more damage there. And this part is going to be a little bit more informative. Yeah, the left side of my hip was worse. I think it was just taking all the weight, and it was just like deteriorated so much more that the surgery in itself was longer. And so it took, they had to take way more fragments out. I guess that's what they said. Okay, let me back up and get a little bit more informative. So, with the vascular necrosis, AVN, like the femoral head, the ball of the hip, became really weak and like started cracking, or like it collapsed. The word that the doctor used was collapsed. And so they had to go in there and basically remove the fragments of the bones that had collapsed. Anyways, I don't know all the medical terms, so we're just gonna say the left hip was definitely more problematic. The right hip by the grace of God, did so much better because it wasn't as damaged as the left. So fast forward, I was finally in the recovery room, and I was actually supposed to go home the next day. And I was really excited to just be done. I was just so relieved that I was done with surgery. And then, because with hip surgery, I'm not quite sure if I mentioned this the episode before. Like most people, especially like older people, they kind of put me to shame in a way. They have hip replacement and then they go home that same day. Me, on the other hand, I had hip replacement. The plan was for me to go home the next day. But unfortunately, like I said, there's always little bumps on the road. And something happened on the unit that the nurses were tending to other patients. I'm not quite sure, but the nurse assistants were the only ones that were available, and they can't give you meds. I was starting to feel a lot of pain from the surgery, so surgical pain, and I needed the next dose of my medicine, of my pain meds. And with sickle cell, the thing is that pain triggers pain. And just a little pause here. This is like so true in life as well. In life in general, like when we are going through certain things in our day-to-day, and we see something painful, it can often trigger another painful event. Or when we see someone going through a painful event that we have gone through it can often bring those feelings and really trigger emotions within us that we didn't even know were there, and that we have to acknowledge those emotions, and we have to get it treated. There's a quote from one of my favorite authors, Lisa Turkis, from her book Uninvited, and she says, "We must feel the pain to heal the pain. If we never allow ourselves to feel it, we won't acknowledge it's there." When it comes to our emotions, healing that is so true. But at the hospital, I didn't need surgical pain to be triggering sickle cell pain. I needed it to be gone. Because of that, I ended up staying 2 nights instead of just 1 night. Surgery was on the 14th, and I was discharged on the 16th because of a mishap that wasn't supposed to happen. And by the grace of God, my primary doctor, Dr. Dada, he was there like a papa bear. And he, I don't know who he talked to, but he got things done. And I got my pain medicine. And finally, like, I got relief. And, but unfortunately I also needed to stay another day just so that the pain was managed enough for me to get through and get stronger at home. But anyways, once home, recovery moved pretty quickly, and I'm so grateful. I had all the tools from the left side, so having done something, before, it is definitely beneficial. I had like a foot sling thing that to help get my foot to the bed and off the bed. Of course, the first few nights I had to do it on my own. Getting the surgery in January wasn't like amazing because my husband had to get back to work pretty quickly, so I had to really get on my feet like pretty fast. But I'm grateful my mom was able to help care for me. My community was able to not just bring meals, but also spend time and care for the needs that I had at the time, which a lot of the time was helping me get off the couch and give me just a little extra boost. And that, again, just God's hands and feet in motion, like was totally in full motion. And I desire to tell you guys so much more in episodes to come of how people from even 3 hours away, dear friend, from far away, that came to just sit with me and just be and support me. And that's it. It was just, it's something that I will forever be so grateful. This experience taught me, again, healing is not just physical. Something about a surgery, a physical surgery, that will trigger so many emotions out of you. Healing is emotional, healing is spiritual, and it's deeply communal. Like, you don't do healing by yourself. You do healing with others. And I'm not ashamed to say that at times I need to call a friend when I am feeling so low. At times I need to message a therapist to have a one-on-one and work through certain things in my heart. There's power in vulnerability. There's power in healing with others around you. And like, I am continually falling back into this quote by Lisa. Feeling the pain is the first step towards healing the pain. The longer we avoid the feeling, the more we delay our healing. And I just think healing isn't just in the stitches and x-rays. It's in the talk with a friend and journaling. And I really encourage you guys, if you're going through something, pick up journaling. If journaling is not your thing, pick up meditation. If meditation is not your thing, read a book that encourages and provides a different perspective. Healing, it's in a ride to the hospital. It's in a cup of coffee from a friend, which I had plenty. It's in a soup made with love and in cuddles with your babies. This time around, healing was, it was really sweet. My friend, she needed my help for me to care for her babies. And even though she needed that help, it actually helped me more than she realized. All the cuddles from my baby girl, I'm just gonna say C, and W, baby boy, it was just so sweet. And it just makes me think healing is also in knowing you're not walking alone, even if you're using a walker. I ended up actually, during the first surgery, I didn't get discharged from my walker because after your surgery you go in for a 2-week post-op, and the surgeon decides whether you need to continue to walk with a walker or with a cane. And I didn't go back to church for at least, I think, 2 weeks because I was doing the walker with the first surgery. And on the second surgery, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to go to church and I'm going to walk with my walker and I'm going to be in community. I'm going to praise my Lord because that's what healed my heart. So, if you're walking through something hard right now, or maybe you're limping your way through recovery, I want to remind you, you, my friend, are not alone. You are not weak for needing people. You are not behind just because it's taking longer this time around for recovering or for getting over certain feelings. And you're not forgotten. God sends his people in perfect timing. So, if this episode spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you. Head on over to my Instagram, send me a message. Let's stay in touch. Tell me how someone have shown you kindness or showed up for you when you needed the most. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment about your own healing journey. If you're on Spotify, leave a review, or on Apple Podcast, and share this episode with someone who's walking through a healing season. And I just want once again to remind you, you are not alone. I see you. More importantly, God sees you. And I just want to leave you with the last quote. We must feel the pain to heal the pain, because we are all living in the dash. That quiet line between the year we were born and the year we go home. And there's still joy, even here, in the messy middle.
There's joy